Hey, what is going on, everybody? This is Patrick Ding, and I wanted to welcome you to the Lead Generation Machine Master Email course, where you're going to learn how to get a meeting with anybody, whether it's a small business, medium business, Fortune 500 company, simply with a cold email. Now, before we dive into the material itself, I think it's important for you to get a little bit more of an idea of who I am and what my background is and how exactly this course came to be. So, how this course came to be. Now, my mission in life is to inspire others, and that's me over there as a 6-year-old missing my 2 front teeth. And so, when I was younger and growing up, I used to be so afraid of what people thought of me that I would literally just never say anything in social situations. And so, because of that, that led to a life of frustration and anger and a lot of loneliness. For a majority of my life, I was really depressed. And fortunately, there are people who came into my life and they inspired me to look at things from a different perspective and inspired me that, to be the person I am on the inside and not be afraid to show it to other people. And because of that, my life instantly became better and I was able to grow out of my shell and be who I really was, and people accepted it. And so what I want to do and what's really important to me is that I want to inspire other people to live the life that they want to live. And that's part of the reason for why I created this course. Now, let's go ahead and start with a little story now that you kind of got an idea of, who I am from a vision standpoint. A few years ago, I graduated from a school called USC, the University of Southern California, with a business degree from the Marshall School of Business. And so at the time, I didn't really know what I wanted to do, but I understood business in 2 very simple ideas. One is you create a product or a service, and the other side is you sell it. So at the time, I didn't know how to create anything, so I thought that if I learned how to sell, I would have that skill set in the future so that I could partner up with somebody, and no matter what, my skill set of selling would always be there for the rest of my life. And so to become a good seller, I decided to join a company called Oracle. And for those of you guys who don't know, Oracle is one of the biggest technology companies in the entire world, and a lot of enterprise businesses run on their tech. And so this is where I thought I was going to learn how to sell. And so when I joined Oracle as someone who just graduated college, what they do is they get all the new graduates and they put them in the Crown Plaza Hotel for 5 weeks for training. So there's literally 200 of us in this hotel. We would sleep there and live there, and every day at 8 o'clock, we would go down the elevator and take classes in the ballroom. And at the time, what they said was the best and most effective thing to learn was how to talk to people on the phone, especially when it comes to cold calling. And I have to tell you that I was not a good cold caller at all. I would be terrible in the practices and all that. So what I did every day after class is I would go back into my room, and this is literally the room that I slept in, and I would practice these cold call scripts to myself for hours and hours, and I would do that every single day, and I would do it on the weekends until I actually got decent at it. And so after 5 weeks of training on how to cold call, we went back to Oracle headquarters, and this is my mentor, Savannah, who taught me a lot of what I know today. And she asked me, so Patrick, now that you're fresh to Oracle, what are your goals? And as salespeople, we had a quota, and I said, I want to hit 150% of my quota. And she's like, all right, that sounds good. And so I just started that journey. And I really needed to hit that 150% because at the time I was 25K in student loan debt. And that debt was only growing bigger because I was living in San Francisco and my credit card debt was $6,000, and it just kept going up and up every month. And this was a very scary situation for me to be in and I really need to make some sales. So every day I would wake up maybe at 6 a.m., get ready for work, and I would drive to Phil's Coffee on the way to Oracle headquarters. And I remember going so early to Phil's Coffee all the time that there would be the same people who waited in line before the store even opened. And, I would get the mint mojito coffee, which is super good, and, go to Oracle. And I would go to my desk. And around 7 o'clock a.m., I would start making cold calls to customers, right? And try to build relationships and try to build business. And the problem was that less than 5% of the people I called actually answered the phone. So this was devastating because if I made 100 calls in one day, which is a lot of calls, only 5 people would pick up the phone, right? 5%. And out of those 5 people, it was a very low chance that I would get the right person on the phone. And so this strategy pretty much got me nowhere in this day and age. And so I asked my friend, I took a friend out for coffee and I asked her, how was it that other people are getting meetings with their customers? And she said, oh, we cold email people. And she said, trust me, I have this email template that works for everybody. And so I was excited. I was like, wow, an email template that works for everybody. I got to try it for myself. And so I went back to my desk, sent out these emails, and straight up nothing happened. It just did not work at all. And so I was like, why did she say that this email template works for everybody when it didn't work for me at all? And then I realized that not only her, but all the people that she sent the email template to, they were just kind of lying about their numbers. And, to be frank, they just weren't really hitting their numbers and not generating any sales. So I was like, all right, then I got to take matters in my own hands. And so what I did was over the weekends and after work, I would hustle and I would learn about how other people became successful with cold emailing, because I knew there was other companies that had a successful outbound email strategy. I just needed to figure it out for myself. So after, hours and hours of learning how this is all done, I started sending emails. First batch, nothing happened. Second batch, nothing happened. I'm getting a little bit of success here and there, but nothing too significant. And then I remember one day I tried out this email templates, and it was 7 a.m. in the morning, and my phone kept ringing, and I was like, what the heck's going on? And my phone was just ringing and ringing and ringing, and it was blowing up with people that I've emailed the night before, the day before, and they were asking me for a meeting. I could not believe how many responses I was getting from this email. And it was crazy because these weren't just like random people. These are people I wanted to do business with. And so now that I figured out how to send an email and get people interested and then eventually get the meeting so I can get the sale, my life completely changed. So over the next few years, here's what happened. I got out of credit card debt because of these emails, and I was able to generate sales. I became the top 1% of account executives in America at Oracle within my first year of working there, and I hit originally my goal was 150% of my quota. I was able to hit 420% for that year. After that, I decided to join a startup called Lob, which is a Y Combinator-backed startup, and I replicated my email strategies there, so I know it works whether you're an enterprise company or if you're a startup. And, so far I've consulted and trained hundreds of entrepreneurs, freelancers, business development, and sales professionals on how to send cold emails to get your foot in the door and get that initial first meeting. And now what I do is I help people generate more business for their business. And for me personally, I love to travel. I've been traveling around the world, and my mission in life, like I said earlier, is to inspire others. So once you go through the course and you learn all the material and you apply it and you actually put in the work, you're gonna have the skills and confidence to email anybody and get a meeting with them. And I'm telling you, when you have the ability to get an email with anybody, it can completely change your life and completely change your business. So if all this sounds good to you, I'm gonna see you guys in the next lesson.